Thinking about what's going on in Moscow, Idaho, it may be worthwhile just to talk a bit about what the rules of the game are with respect to police, possible witnesses, and the like. And this is true everywhere. Uh, the police can ask questions. We want them to. The police are supposed to. They're there in part to ask questions. A terrible crime has occurred. Four young students are dead. Uh, uh, the police can't learn anything if people won't talk to them. And so it is part of the ordinary, and I would say necessary, police process for the police to seek out anyone who may have potentially relevant information. And that's what they do. And they ask. They ask questions. They try to delve into what could have happened. And of course, by whom? Witnesses or people who knew the murdered students have a choice. As a society, I'd say, we hope they cooperate. Who doesn't want to find out who did this? But they're not obliged to. Uh, they can stay silent. And reading what's been written about this, it sounds as if some of them who could have relevant information aren't disclosing it. They're not legally obliged to, at least in the context of the police asking questions. If a time comes when they're called in court, they can't just stand silent. They have to answer relevant questions in the case. Uh, One of the interesting uh, realities, which may or may not apply in the Idaho situation, but which police have found in cases where young people are involved, college students are involved, is that there is a reluctance on the part of some students to cooperate for one of at least two reasons. One, which everyone would understand, is they're afraid if there's a mad killer out there who murders people, slices them up, and leaves them dead, that they don't want their names in the paper. They don't want the killer or killers, in some cases, to know who they are. That's perfectly understandable. I mean, as members of society, we hope they would talk if they have anything of relevance to say. And uh, at the end of the day, there are no legal means to require them to do so, at least at the police level. If they're called in to testify as witnesses, they have to answer questions in court like everyone else. A broader issue this raises, though, is that there's often been a sort of cultural reluctance on the part of young people, college students, to cooperate, uh, either for what I'll call political, I don't mean Democrat, Republican political, but because of disapproval of the police or the like. Now, I would think this would be the last case in which that would be true. That is to say, students more than anybody ought to want the culpable person or people to be apprehended uh, and at least jailed so as to protect the students from the same thing happening to them. Uh, but beyond that, no, we're all members of society, and we all hope that crimes, surely horrific crimes like this, are solved, and the killer or killers duly punished to the full range of legal uh, ability to do so. If there are any students out there who are saying, I don't like the cops, or I don't trust the cops, or whatever, this is not the case to be making that sort of politicized judgment. I mean, surely this is a case in which students, most of all, should want to walk freely on campus without fear of being themselves or their friends harmed, let alone murdered.